Hey guys, Matt here. Just checking in. Teams have been named, so I figured I'd jump in and drop a quick teams video. We usually do ear to the ground today, but I figure we'll try to revamp that, maybe a shorter format. We'll go over the teams, have a quick look at the trades, and see how we go from there. Roller coaster week. We went from having a bye to no bye to games have moved all over the place. It's a real worrying time for the AFL, and any viewers from Victoria, feel free to jump in the chat. Good luck to everyone over the next 7 days. Hopefully you guys are all right. My thoughts are with you for sure. And apologies from South Australia. Quality hotel quarantine work by us here. Now let's jump straight into the teams. I've had to do it this way because they usually have this team sort of option here. But when you jump in there, it's just blank. So we're going to have to go a little bit ghetto and use it this way, which is, it's not easy on the eyes, but is what it is. We won't be able to see the lineups, but perhaps if we want to look at the lineups, we can click over. I've kind of got it. I don't have it. I had it set up before, but I just closed it. Ripper game. Dogs in Melbourne. Absolute ripper game. You'll find your vice captain in here somewhere. Whoever you want. There's about 4 or 5 options for you to pick from. Any big out for Scott. I think everyone did expect this. He got injured. I think it was a hand in the end. I thought it was concussion. It was a hand. Either way, it is handy. No pun intended. That he is going out for a week and 2 weeks, because I believe they have a round 12 bye. I'm not 100% sure about that. I believe they have a round 12 bye. So it is good that you don't have to trade him immediately, because you've frozen his points now. You've frozen his cash, rather. He's not going anywhere while he doesn't play. I guess another note, Tim English back in against Gawn and Jackson combo does affect whether you want to put the captaincy on Gawn. I know a lot of people are just going to drop it onto, or the vice captaincy rather. A lot of people are going to drop that straight onto Oliver. I'm not sure that's a good idea. You'd think with the Dogs midfield the way it is, you just can't see him dropping a giant score. He probably will drop a big score, but I'm just not sure if it's a good idea against in a 1v2 clash like that to expect someone to really pop off. Treloar's another big out. Does interesting things to this matchup. Certainly makes Caleb Daniel an attractive choice in defense again. He already was with Dunkley out, and now with Treloar out, he's even more attractive. Guys like Bailey Dale, very attractive as well in the forward line. Be careful about loading up on any Dogs players this week. I'll just double check, because I do think, anything could happen, keep in mind. It's not around 12 bye for them, so it must be their bye is round 13, which is not so bad, but just keep in mind when you bring in players in this week that these guys have a bye next week, so anyone you're trading in from any of these 6 teams are immediately having a bye the week after, and it's the same for round 13. You don't really want to bring someone in when you could have waited a couple of weeks, unless you feel that you have to grab them this week. So that's the Friday game, huge game. Who knows who to tip here? I think the Dogs. You just got to go the Dogs. Crowdless will be interesting, but it's at the G now. That's just you just don't know, do you? Move venues. Anything could happen here. It's gonna be a ripper. I'm keen to watch it either way. Saturday, Collingwood Geelong, huge. Oh, not huge changes. A couple of changes there. Sadly, no Murphy in. Being named as a sub the week before, and they've named a new player over him. So, bit of a worry for owners that he may now see the Highmore treatment, and at least there's an excuse here. He was injured. He did look good playing, so he could feature again. Hopefully he plays over the byes to give us some coverage there. That would be really nice. I did notice during the week that McCreery got a little injury tag in Supercoach, and they've got him a couple of weeks out, so that's frustrating for anyone who had him on field or was using him still. He's probably capped out as far as money went, He probably could have got a little bit of extra cash, but now that I'd take, you can cash him out if you want to now. You don't have to, but he's probably done as far as cash generation goes. Geelong Holmes in. That I know that there are some people who do have Holmes who either went early on him or picked him up for his third game. I think it worked. They'll be happy to see him back. Duncan out. Holmes is probably only in for the 1 week. Duncan out. Geez, that's huge. He was playing some seriously good footy. It was a really good pot option. Preferred him over Guthrie if you had picked him up. Concussion was about 75 at halftime. Insane numbers. Or about slightly into the third. Absolutely insane numbers. Sadly, now he's out for a week, mandatory for a week, and he'll drop drastically the week after. So he could be a target during Geelong's bye the week after, round 14, I think it is. Geelong are a 12 bye team, so he won't drop for a couple of weeks, which is frustrating actually, now that I think about that. So sadly, he's one to look at later, but he might coincide with Dangerfield as it happens, so we'll see what goes there. Brisbane GWS, not much here, which is actually quite nice if there's not many changes with Brisbane. This means Madden is in again. I think it was Bailey Madden replaced, and he came back in with Bailey still in the team. So it looks like Madden has earned his spot in the starting 22, the proper starting 22. If we have a look at Brisbane's injury list, not sure when it was last updated, but Leicester, but Leicester's not named. So do be careful that this could be the last week we see of, how old's this though? 2 days ago. This could be the last we see of Madden. He could be a 1-game trap. So just be careful, because I believe the in and out was Leicester at the time. I'm only going off the top of my head here, guys, but certainly wasn't Barry. It must have been Leicester. Or we can have a look later, and I'll clarify for you. But I wouldn't be too fussed, in all honesty. Madden looks to be a very nice pick, and he can play both ends, which is nice. And the guys you're bringing in now, you're not really looking for cash generation. You're looking for guys you can just slot somewhere to bring primos in the way you want to bring them in. GWS, no changes. Fine. Expect some changes from them soon. They got some guys due back. And this is a disaster here. Highmore named as the sub last week, so you couldn't even really loop him if you wanted to. And then they got beaten by 110. Look to be one of the worst teams in the league at the moment. Have only made 2 drops and have 3 injury changes. So 5 changes total for 4 blokes. None of these are named Highmore. So whether he's the sub again, which is a terrible sign, because now he's got the sub warning on him, which is just stressful as. There's also the danger that we don't see Highmore again, keeping in mind that if he's not named as the sub, then he's straight up not getting a game at all this week, because there's no VFL this weekend, so obviously due to COVID. So Highmore's now dead money to us, similar to Murphy up top. North Melbourne, no changes. Cool. I don't think there's a lot to look at on the North Melbourne side of things. Zeeble, Hall, those guys. No injuries going out, so that's great. Every week, if you're a Hall owner, which I want to be, but I just can't fit him in just yet, which is frustrating because he keeps going up and up. This is something you want to keep an eye on. The out Hall. It'll happen. Maybe. Gold Coast Hawthorn playing in Sydney now. Not a lot relevant here. O'Meara out, so Mitchell will probably have his scoring up again. I think Mitchell is a good option. And then Farah in. Anyone who still has him from when you picked him up a couple of weeks back, I think it was, when he was on the bubble. Here he is back. He got injured, I think it was. Surely most people shipped him off, but if you're sitting on him, here he is. Great. Might be able to get a bit more money out of him. And who we got here? West Coast Essendon. Nothing really to see here. It's good to see Stringer named without Waterman going out, so that's handy. And then West Coast, not really relevant to anyone. But that is handy, the Waterman for Stringer. So, Harry Jones out. So anyone who still has Harry Jones managed, so he's probably back in the next week. Is his bye? No, he's around 13, I think. Could be the last you see of him for a little while. Harry Jones. So I just realised it was. And then Sunday, extended benches, keep in mind, but some of these are just tantalising. Bolton, beautiful. Love to see him back. It was always going to be... I'd suspected on Sunday night that he was coming back when they said it was a week to 2 weeks last week. But once they started dropping the news about what he had actually done, how he was instigated, he's been on the phone to Gill, he's had the apology, paid the fine now, or has issued the fine, whatever you want to do. That was sort of theatrics leading up to him coming back, a bit of a redemption arc. Richmond love that type of stuff. He'll get to come in, play, and prove himself on the field. Huge names in. Cochin, Caddy, Prestia. I assume Chol comes in because they'll need a tallish sort of forward. I am worried with Lynch out that Bolton spends a bit more time up forward, and I am worried with Cochin and Prestia coming back that Bolton spends a little less time out of the midfield. So it's something that I'd like to keep an eye on. He wasn't playing a huge amount of midfield time to begin with, but he looked that good and he was scoring that well that he was hard to resist. It'll be one to keep an eye on, and it's being he's a forward. I'm not going to trade him out unless he does a Jath and starts dropping 40s and 50s on me. I'll take 70s to 80s from Bolton at this stage. It is what it is. Crows have named no changes just yet. I don't think there are any real relevant changes to the team. These guys all played well at SANFL level, so they get named. I don't think you change the team at all, frankly. They might go a little bit smaller in defense, so someone like Murray might miss. So if you traded in Murray last week, do keep in mind that you may miss Murray, because without Lynch, there's not a lot of tools to stand in the Richmond team. So maybe Hamill slots back in, or McPherson, whichever one they like more. They slot one of those two back in, and have a smaller defense again, purely because there's no one else to stand with Lynch. But you got to consider Chol and Coleman Jones, guys like that, if they get named. So could be a bit there if you named Murray. O'Connor again doesn't look like he was just a one-off by the looks, which is a bit of a shame. Jump into the Sydney Carlton team. Oh, sorry, I should also say, even though he's not named, the what was his name? The boy Collier Dawkins. I keep forgetting his name. Riley Collier Dawkins hasn't been named out of the team yet, with all these ins being named into the emergency. So great signs if you grab Riley Collier Dawkins that he may fit in a team like this. I would be extremely concerned though coming up, but good on you if you picked him. Well done, smart move. Sydney Carlton, not a lot here that's really relevant. I don't think there's anyone. I don't think any of these guys really matter to anyone. They are who they are. They're just guys. Sydney are just guys. The main Sydney players are all still playing great. All of these guys, whatever. Carlton, Parks, Noons, Martin, Casbolt, right. Nothing again there really to worry about. Parks was a popular rookie for a period. Doesn't seem to be a huge deal. And Port Freo. So Hartlett dropped, which is interesting. Very interesting. I wonder who will come in out of these four for him. Probably Fantasia, being that he's named. I guess they'll see about that. Could be Marty Frederick, which would be good for owners. Lockie Jones, again, was named. Has a little injury tag on him. Do I have the injury list for Port? I've got it along here somewhere. Just got to Port. So Lockie Jones was named as an ankle test. Hopefully he can get named, because man, that would be frustrating if he was to go out the first week. And then Brayshaw's back, so owners will be happy about that too. So it does look like we've been refreshed a little bit in the Supercoach. And I'll take a look. I'll show you my team quickly, and I'll show you what I've done. So I've gone the Madden Mills route. I don't know if this is the right call. Mills is... The only reason I like Mills is that he's around 14 bye, so I'm going to get some points out of him on the front side of his bye. He is also, however, at the very peak of the money he's going to be on. But I'm just tired of missing him, and there's not many other choices. The only other players I'd think about is guys like Bailey Dale. I really like if I can get him in the forward line somehow. The issue is that I want to trade Jath. I definitely want to trade Jath this week, and I mean, if I go like this, I can get a good amount of cash, so I'll just show you guys. So you can go Jath, and I can go, I think it was, Powell was the other one. And then you grab, we grab Madden in defense, and then I can send, I can do whatever, really. Zorko up. Oh, it wouldn't be Zorko, it'd be Scott up, because Bolton would just come on there, and Jordan plays on field. And then you grab Dale. Dale for 479, and I've got 200k there, and I really like Bailey Dale. I think this is a really nice pick. Even before he was on anyone's radars, he was putting out good money. The only scores, I should say. The only bad game is this 61. I need to look into how that happened, but I'm pretty confident that that's a good pick. The other one, I could just bite the bullet and finally pick Hall. I hate that though. Being that they've got to buy in round 12, so I'm not going to. So I pick a guy for 1 week's of score, and then he sits on my bench. So Dale, I think, is round 13. We decided, so that's not a huge deal, but it's leaning towards Mills. It's leaning towards Mills and Madden. I really do like that. It'd be good to have Mills in the team. I think I need that boost to get me back into the 100. The issue there is you sink a lot of cash if you do Mills, so we'll see. Captaincy wise, I think I am, even against English, I think I am gonna still vice captain Gawn. He tends to score pretty well against English. Didn't play, did he? Interesting last year, but he 117, 139 against the Dogs. Don't mind it. What does Oliver do against the Dogs? Hard to tell there. You know, and then there's Bont, who has had some rippers against the Dogs, including a 135. So I may even think about vice-captaining the Dogs. I may even think about vice-captaining McRae, one of these two. It'll be real touch and go. It's set at it's at the MCG now though, so I'm a little bit concerned about that. Where were these games played? Marvel, yeah. So they haven't played at the MCG in years, sadly. So that's frustrating. I may in fact pick Gawn over that because I feel like Gawn at the MCG is a much better vice captaincy option, and that would take me into probably just Grundy against Geelong with no ruckman. I'd be happy with that if anything failed there. Could also go Lions against GWS. That renowned taggers though, you hate to see it. Renowned tagging team GWS. And especially without Neil, I don't want anything to do with putting a captain against GWS. And there's not many other options to go. If you had a Dusty, you could think about Dusty against the Crows. I don't think that's a good idea though. I think Dusty did get worked out last week, and I think the Crows have a man who can do a very similar job to him in Luke Brown. So we'll see. That's it for the show. Shorter one. Let us know what you think of the teams. What is your trade going to be? What captain are you going to do? I'm really liking this Jath because I want to get rid of Jath. I'm really liking this Jath and either Whiteman or Madden. I think Madden just to pocket the 50k. It's greedy, I know, and Whiteman, especially with long-term injuries, could play a fair bit, but I don't know, I just feel like the immediate 50k would be a lot nicer. It makes it a lot easier, especially not getting money from Highmore, not getting money from Murphy. Mills could be a terrible pickup as well at 577, but whatever, is what it is. I feel better with Bolton back in the team, that's for sure. I'll lock that in now. I'm feeling pretty good about that. And that makes this look quite nice here. I could even do... No, this doesn't look too bad. Poulter's scoring well. Madden has historically put up good numbers. Look, I'm feeling decent about it. Keep in mind, Bolton will be there and Jordan will be there. I'll do that. Only one, and you got a bench here, and then you get a choice with McNeil and no Brockman still. Sadly, there's another guy we won't talk about. Pretend he doesn't exist. So there's that there. What happened there? So yeah, let us know how you feel about the team. What's your thoughts on your own team? Who you're targeting this week? Keep that in vice of mind if you're looking for a round 12 player. Just guys like Hall, guys like Guthrie. Just keep in mind they've got to buy next week. Do you have to get them this week? Will be the question you have to ask yourself. Thanks for watching. Hit a like, hit a subscribe, and I'll chat to you guys during the week, and stay safe in Victoria.